Hi, could I get some help, please?
Sure, what are you working on?
Are you a librarian?
Yes, ma'am.
For my American history class, I have to write a 15-page research paper on the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Do you know what kind of scholarly resources are acceptable?
My professor wants 15 different cited sources. She'll accept a few internet resources. She wants us mostly to use the library scholarly resources.
Sure, I can help identify places where you are likely to find these resources and how to search for what you need.
Let's see, our syllabus says that books, journals, primary sources, and government documents count as acceptable scholarly resources. Can you help me find some of those?
Well, actually...
Good, because this scholarly library resources stuff is a real pain. Really, what's the difference between what's on the internet and what's in the library? When I was in high school, I only used the internet for research.
Well...
It almost seems like she's forcing everyone to use library resources so we can have an appreciation of how miserable it was to do research in the library when she was a student, before the internet. And I hate to ask this with you being a librarian and all, but with Google Books and iPads, will we even need libraries in the future? And it's easier to find information on the internet anyway. One box, one search.
Actually, there's a considerable difference between what's available on the internet and what's available through the library. Let's take a step back. Where on the internet do you start your research?
Google. So I'm guessing you're going to tell me that's not a good idea.
Actually, it's not a terrible idea. In fact, the internet is a great place to start. There's absolutely no shame in surveying what's easily available, widely known, or believed to be true using Google. However, you do not want to limit your research to just what's on the internet.
What do you mean by that?
The internet is limited in that only a fraction of available information on most topics is available through the internet. Search engines cannot find and understand all the information found on the internet. Not all internet content is public or free. The quality of the information varies, and yet the internet is full of options and easy to use. Allow me to demonstrate. Let's bring up a browser and go to Google.
Okay, www.google.com.
Now, how would you run a search on the assassination of Dr. King?
I would type in Dr. abbreviated with a period, Martin Luther King Jr. abbreviated with a period, assassination.
Is that all?
Well, I would hit the search button after I typed that in.
Let's see what Google found. Right off the top, you will see links for Wikipedia, the Nobel Foundation, the folks that give out the Nobel Prize, some media clips, and a bunch of other links. Do you know how many possible resources Google has retrieved?
I don't know, probably a lot.
You're right. If you look just beneath the search box, you will see your search for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. assassination has retrieved over 33 million potential resources.
That's a lot.
Indeed it is. What percentage of the 33 million would you consider reviewing for your paper?
I would prefer the first 15 if possible.
That's not quite a percentage. Why would you not consider some of the links on the other pages, other than the first 15?
Well, I know that Google arranges the links with the best ones at the top. The rest are probably junk.
What if you didn't see anything on the first page that you like?
I would change my search until I got what I need.
Interesting. Let me ask you a few other questions. Of the 33 million potential resources that you see before you, what percentage would you think was written by an authority on the subject? As in a historian who focuses on the civil rights era of American history, or a biographer of Dr. King? What percentage would you estimate is accurate information based on verifiable fact? And what percentage of the resources are up to date and are covered in full?
You seem to like numbers. I don't know, 20%, 15%? In a way, it doesn't really matter. I wasn't going to look at them anyway. But I suppose you know the percentage, so what's the answer?
I don't think the answer is noble, but I would have said something similar, if not less. And therein lies the problem. The internet is an open publishing environment. Anyone with a little technical knowledge, internet access, and is able to cover the nominal expenses of internet hosting can post information about the King assassination. In fact, after you complete this paper, you could create your own website based on your research.
But I'm not a historian or an expert on Dr. King.
Exactly, and I suspect the majority of the potential 33 million authors that your search has found are not as well. You see, in an open publishing environment such as the internet, or even Wikipedia to a certain extent, you are able to present your findings without proving yourself as an authority. And you're not really obliged to be objective, accurate, thorough, or keep your information up to date. Now, how is that different from library resources?
Let me guess, all the library stuff is perfect and written by unbiased geniuses.
Actually, no. You should always apply a critical eye to all forms of information, even scholarly library resources. However, resources available at the library are not self-published. These works have been at least reviewed by an editor before publication, and in many cases these works have been reviewed by the author's peers in the field, again, before publication. In other words, if you decide to publish your findings on the assassination as a book or as an article, someone who knows something about the assassination or Dr. King, if not an expert or a team of experts, will review your work before publication. Ultimately, the book or the article will be withheld from publication or not get published at all until the reviewers, editors, or your peers are satisfied with your work.
Interesting, but didn't you just tell me that the internet was a good resource? It would seem to me that you're suggesting I can't trust anything on the internet, and maybe that's what my professor's driving at.
Not exactly. As a general rule, you simply need to be more critical with the internet than with scholarly library resources. Because the internet, again, is an open publishing environment, whereas scholarly publications must be reviewed by someone knowledgeable on the subject. And the slim opportunities for publishers to recoup the costs of publishing books, journals, magazines, newspapers, and so on limit the amount of materials available, whereas the expense of self-publication on the internet is almost non-existent.
So there are fewer scholarly library resources?
As compared to the internet, yes.
Does the internet duplicate what is available through the library?
The internet, to a small extent, does duplicate what is in the library. You mentioned Google Books earlier. For instance, Google Books does have a boatload of the same books found in the library, and many more available in other libraries, but these are usually older materials that are no longer protected by copyright law. Materials published within the last 70 years, or in many cases longer, will not be available in full on Google Books. And it's true, some journals are published in print and have electronic equivalents on the web. The same goes for many recent government documents and newspaper articles. Plus, common knowledge, the kind of stuff found in almanacs, like the capital city of Peru, can easily be found in a million places on the internet.
Lima?
Yes, but not everything, or really anything in the vicinity of everything, is available on the internet. Also, search engines like Google do not and cannot index all the content found on the internet. There are oceans of information that are blocked from the likes of Google by passwords, or is kept in private holdings, as well as data that Google cannot, at least at this time, interpret or make searchable. For instance, Google cannot understand the contents of a video recorded speech on YouTube, or collections of statistical data found in a series of tables on the web. Furthermore, when you ran your search on Dr. King, the 33 million resources found by Google only represents what Google found. Bing, another search engine, may find much of the same, but it may find a bunch of other resources that Google was unable to find. And furthermore, there's an ocean of information missed by all search engines.
So does the library have everything that's not available for free on the internet?
I wish. I would say that only a small portion of all available information on the internet is free. Have you ever used any of the library's electronic journals or article databases?
Like Academic Search Premier?
Yes. Academic Search Premier is a collection of journals, newspapers, magazines, trade publications, and reports covering a wide array of disciplines and subjects. The library pays handsomely for Academic Search Premier and a whole bunch of other electronic journals and article databases. These resources are unavailable to those who are not associated with the university. Academic Search Premier is one of about 200 different article databases available through the library. Academic Search Premier has a boatload of resources, but not quite as many as Google. And remember, these are not the same as the self-published resources that dominated your Google search.
So you would get better results then?
Generally speaking, yes.
What kind of good things can I find on the internet?
The internet is a wonderful place for finding government documents from the federal to the municipal level. The internet is also a great source for digital collections of primary materials such as old photographs, maps, correspondence, documents, recordings, etc., or those archival materials with a local or a historical value. And the internet is a great place for media, video, audio, etc. There are no shortages of contemporary news or personal communication resources, such as social networks, blogs, wikis, and the like.
I'm still a little confused. Which is better, the internet or scholarly resources?
Let's back up. The information landscape is complex in that not all of the information on a given subject is available in one collection. On the internet, in the library, within an article database, found in Google, etc., or in a single resource like a book, an article, a report, etc. All collections and resources will have strengths and weaknesses.
But I still need to find 15 resources on the assassination.
I think we will be able to find information on the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in a number of different resources and collections on the internet and in the library.
So then, I just need to remember all of the resources that you're going to recommend for all of my papers.
Actually, with other topics, let's say the medical complications of heavy alcohol use by the elderly, will require a different set of resources, collections, and techniques. For a topic like that, for instance, we may not want to consult the internet at all.
That's a strange example topic.
Actually, you can have a list of probable places where you might find information on a given topic in mind, but what may be easier for you as you familiarize yourself with academic research is to speak with someone at the library. It's our job to know these kinds of things, plus we like helping students and doing research. You can contact us in person at one of the public service desks, via phone, text message, chat, email. Just click on the Ask Steely Library button on the bottom left of all the library's web pages. This is not to say that you will forever be dependent upon the library for assistance to get you started. The library's website has research guides in all major disciplines offered at NKU. And as you conduct more research, especially in the area of your major, you will become all too aware of the strengths and weaknesses of all the various resources and collections that are available to you at the library and through the internet.
Well, I guess that's hopeful.
I suppose so. Let's get to some of the specifics on your research. Let's start with books.